Hey guys, this video is for our kindergarten and first grade leaders for September. It's actually September 30th, so it's actually the 5th week of September, but it's the 4th week of our curriculum. So all month long, our theme has been dirty jobs. Somebody's got to do it, and our life app has been initiative, seeing what needs to be done and doing it. And then we've been learning about Nehemiah all month long. So the first week, Nehemiah heard about the wall that needed to be rebuilt around Jerusalem. And then in week 2, he made plans to rebuild the wall. And then in week 3, he had a distraction by Sanballat. And then this week, the wall is finally going to be rebuilt. So our bottom line is look for ways to celebrate what God has done. Then our memory verse for the month is work at everything you do with all your heart. Work as if you were working for the Lord. Colossians 3:23. So it's going to be a fun week this week. Jumping over to our leader guide, just make sure that you are here at 8:30 and 10:30 to pray with your kids. Or not to pray with kids. To pray with your team. Pray for each other. Ask each other for prayer requests. Give each other some praise. And then pray for your small group. Thank God that He sent Jesus to be our Savior. And just thank Him for all of the things that we have to celebrate. Then when kids start to roll in, at 8:40 and 10:40, be sure that you know everybody's name. Welcome them and ask them about their week. Make sure first-time guests feel very welcomed and included. And then as they're playing with the activities on the carpet, you can be asking kids about the coupon books that they made last week. So they made these little coupon books with things that they could do at home to show initiative. So you can ask them if they completed the things that they did, what was hardest, did they stay on task, did anything distract them? And then if kids weren't here last week, you can say, well, what kind of jobs do you do around your house? And do you ever get distracted by something else when you're trying to get a job done? Because that's what they learned about all last week. Then when service starts at 9 and 11, you're going to play a game called Pin the Brick to the Wall. So you've got, you're going to have a little baggie of bricks on your cart. Each small group is going to have 15 bricks. So you're going to have to figure out, depending on how many kids you have, that's how many times they'll get to go. And then you'll need a blindfold for each kid. Well, they'll take turns with the blindfold. And so your bricks are already cut apart. And then what you're going to have kids do is stand 3 feet away from the wall and give them a paper brick. You're going to put a little piece of tape on the back of it. And then they are going to be blindfolded and spin them around 3 times. And then let them walk to the wall and stick their brick to it. And then when they're finished, blindfold the next kid, and their job is to try to make a wall. So the next kid wants to try to stack their brick on top of the kid that went before them. So it'll be funny to see how their walls turn out. So you'll close that game down by saying, have you guys ever played this version of a game, played a version of this game at a party before? I would guess that you've probably never been asked to pin a brick on the wall. But this is a super fun game to play, especially at a celebration like a birthday party. Well, Nehemiah certainly had something big to celebrate. And we're going to head to large group to see if we can figure out what that was. So then you'll head across the hall to large group. As always, make sure that you sit with your small group and help them to worship and listen and engage in the story. When you head back to your room after large group is over, you're going to need these word bubbles that are going to be on your cart and some coloring supplies. So what you're going to do is you're going to give each kid a word bubble, but you are going to keep the one that says Savior for yourself. And what they're going to do is they're going to color in their word bubbles, and while they're coloring, you're going to go around and tell them what their word bubbles say. Our kindergartners are definitely not going to be able to read the words. First graders can probably read some of them, but you're going to tell them what their word bubble says. And then when you're finished, you're going to let the kids hold up their words and read them together. And then after they've all said their word once, you're going to go around the circle and have them read their word again, but this time kind of cheer as they say it. So if they have the word kind, they're going to say kind or good or loving. They really want to say it in like an exciting way. And you're going to close that activity down by saying, so guys, today we learned to look for ways to celebrate what God has done. And it's easy to celebrate God for all the wonderful things that are true about Him. So these are all things that are true about God. God is kind and loving and patient and powerful and good. He is our creator and our protector and our friend. God is awesome, but we're not done yet. God also sent Jesus to be our Savior, and then hold up the Savior word bubble. He showed initiative when He chose to send Jesus to give His life on the cross. And 3 days later, Jesus rose again and proved that nothing could separate us from him. So that is certainly something to celebrate. And I'm thankful we don't have to search very hard to look for ways to celebrate what God has done. Then for the memory verse review, you guys are going to play duck, duck, verse. So first I would practice the verse using the motions here a few times. And then have kids circle up and select one kid to start the game. And they're going to walk around, and instead of saying duck while they tap each person's head, they're going to say the verse. So you might have to kind of help them out. And then when they get to the reference, Colossians 3:23, whoever's head they tap is the person who gets to come chase them. So you might have to explain. You're going to hear the verse, and when they come to you, if they tap your head and say Colossians 3:23, you're it, and you have to get up and chase them around the circle. And then obviously that kid goes. So to close it down, you'll say, guys, we've had a great month learning about initiative. Every job, no matter how small, matters to God. So even when you're washing your dishes or feeding the job, you can work at it with all your heart and honor God too. You can look down at your hands and say, thanks, God, for these super cool hands that I can use to do many things. Or thank you for my eyes and my nose that can see and smell my crazy dog. So just remember this week to look for ways to celebrate what God has done. Lola, what are you doing, crazy girl? So then to close in prayer, you're just going to need their word bubbles that they made earlier in the activity, and you're going to encourage them to hold up their word bubble as they pray together and explain to them that there's going to be a point in the prayer where you're going to point to them and they're going to say what's on their bubble. So, dear God, thank you for being, and then you're going to point to each kid as they say what's on their bubble. And then you'll just close down the prayer. And as adults come, just encourage kids to hold up their word bubble and talk about how it's a characteristic of God and something we can celebrate. And just encourage your kids to continue to show initiative and thank God and celebrate God for all that he's done. So thank you guys. September has been an awesome month. We've been having a great group of kids coming to our kindergarten and first grade team. You guys have just been incredible small group leaders. I'm so, so grateful for each and every one of you. I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll see you on Sunday.